everybody, and I hope you're doing well. So I'm going to attempt to do this video in a one-shot raw format. So any errors or issues will be included in the raw footage that you are watching right now. That said, hope everybody's been well, and since I'm feeling up to it, I am going to cover the Katana Mk.2 100 combo I had gotten back, I think it was around December I got it. I traded away in, I think it was my 7-string or something like that. Anyways, I traded something off to get it in a deal. So, with that said, I got the amp. Unfortunately, as everybody knows, came down in March before I wanted to do what I did to it. Beginning of March, came down with sciatica, ended up being a severe case. Which pretty much lasted all the way to it is now May, and I'm still having some tingling sensations here or there in the leg, even though I have actually physically been out walking more and active more. And for probably the last 4 or 5 days, I haven't taken any meds, period, for it. So for it to not be hardly around after taking no meds for it, that's awesome. It's a good sign that I'm hopefully on the verge of finally getting rid of it. So anyways, when I acquired the Katana Mk.2 100 watt combo, the initial thing was I wanted a head version. And well, I had snooped around on YouTube, and again, as a disclaimer, I'm not a guitar luthier, despite individuals out there wanting to try to say that I claim to be. No. Again, just shows the issues with those peoples. At the same time, I am not a guitar amp tech either. So again, anything that I talk about here, do not do it on your own per se. Please go and find said related videos on YouTube from individuals who have successfully done it or show various ways to do what I'm about to talk about. Or take it to an amp tech. It should be a relatively quick, like 30-minute job, so you should have like an hour bench time for them to actually do it. And if you happen to have the parts, that makes it even more cheaper. So with that said, let's get on to what I was saying. So the plan was, because I wanted a head version, head versions aren't really available out on the used market of Kijiji, what we have here in Canada. It's next to impossible to find one, unless it's first gen, and I don't want first gen. Ultimately, I wanted the Katana Artist Mark 2 or 3 that's out. Last thing I had heard, there had been rumors that a revision 3 was coming out of said items at some point in time this year. We'll see. But with that said, with what was available on the market, what I was able to work for a deal, I got the combo. The initial impressions of the combo have been that for solid state and modeling, and having the variable ability to go from 0.5 watt to 50 to 100, I think is great. Again, 50 watt mode with the master on half, my ears are ringing within 20 minutes, so it doesn't do me very good. So for the most part, the amp has stayed in 0.5 watt mode. with that said, again, going back to what I was saying, again, the luxuries of being ADD inattentive type, losing track on things. Oh, excuse me. So anyways, as you can see here, here's the combo on the back. I do have a guitar already connected to a cable. The power is on, so I can do this because I'm going to, as I said, do this in a one shot. Already wasting 5 minutes here. Sorry, folks. So anyways, there's the combo as it sits, but if I flip on the second camera, you do happen to notice that, oh, it is not connected as the regular combo should be. What I did was, as I seen through the reviews, or sorry, not through the reviews, through various YouTube videos from various folks, simply a matter of disconnecting your positive and negative speaker terminals, removing the clips that would normally go onto the speaker, and then pulling a little bit of the sleeve off, and then simply mounting it to a regular quarter out jack. There was a technique out there that I did attempt to try, which was using a termination clipping one, where it would allow that when you plugged it into the jack, the noise to the speaker would be cut off and it would be directly going to external cab, which in my case it didn't work. So I had to go back to the original premise and the original idea of straight up, a straight out speaker out jack. Again, as you can see, I did away with the idea of going into the chassis. I just did not feel comfortable with that, even though there are some videos out there that actually do show you can drill into the chassis and mount the speaker output jack into the chassis. I just really do not like the idea of putting a speaker jack into a chassis, and especially if it's anywhere near a component and there even is any type of bit of static electricity jumping around, can do a lot of damage. So as you also see here, I have purchased from Long & McQuade, because of having to take said path to making it a dedicated speaker out with no internal connection to the internal speaker. I had to buy a combo speaker cable. This one that you see in here is from Long & McQuade here in Canada. It is a Fender branded one, sold for to be used on their Fender combo amps when the speaker cable to the speaker doesn't work or breaks down. So the total cost for that, shipped, in case you get the idea to do this with anything else and you're in Canada, is only about $18 Canadian, shipped for the actual cable itself. And if you place the jack like you see in the external second view that I have the webcam showing on, you can see that it is within range of the speaker, and still some excess that if I want to put the speaker jack up, I could. But again, trying to use logic and keep things away from metal on metal contact in case of any type of static buildup. So with the first attempt at the first mod, unsuccessful. I did manage to correct it and make it successfully able that it was just primarily speaker out. And I built a little piece of wood, sprayed some um, black, I can't remember the brand. Anyways, Painter's Touch 2XL black, just some rough on it. Didn't do any clear or anything special. Had a used football jack around, mounted the jack to it, and simply mounted it to the thing. Connected it to the internal speaker and done. So again, took me probably with all the troubleshooting and everything else 2-3 hours. But if you're competent with a soldering iron and solder and whatnot, it's probably at most a 20-30 minute max job to do it. So with that said, it's done. Again, another thing to forewarn for anyone doing it, dealing that these are this is the output cables period. Be careful about heating the wires beyond a certain point because the heat will travel back up the wires into the main board and it will very likely cook whatever is at the other end of the cables. So keep your heat access to the cables at a minimum. If you're smart, you pre-solder the mounting points on the jack itself. That all you have to do is apply heat to the solder, put the cable on, pull the heat away, give it a chance to stick, then release. Simple as that. Otherwise, again, like I said, when dealing with any guitar electronics or electronics period, if you leave the heat in a certain area for too long, you run a chance at ruining the heat that it's ruining the device or item that you're applying the heat to. You run a high risk of ruining it, burning it out, burning it up, or in the worst case scenario, setting it on fire. Hopefully you don't set things on fire. That said, I use that set a lot here. I'm sorry, folks. Again, old habits. So, now what I'll do, 13 minutes in, again, sorry for babbling, I'm going to now turn this webcam off. I'm going to, well, actually, I'll turn the camera off once I unplug the jack to show you how it's physically connected and whatnot. I'll do that for like 30-45 seconds. Then what I'll do is I'll re-put it back onto the Harley Benton 2x12. You can already see the speaker cable hanging over the front of it. I will leave the amp in its 50% master, and on the 0.5 watt setting I will run it in both clean and dirty through both speaker configurations so you can hear the differences between the two configurations, and if it's something you might want to do with a combo amp. So first up, unplugged cable, quarter jack, speaker cable goes up to here, and this is simply connected to the Katana speaker, back in, simple as that. Not very complicated. So we will mute said camera and it will go about hopefully successfully showing you the sound differences between having the stock speaker and it going to an external set of speakers. Again, Harley Benton 212 Basic Edition, no Celestians in it. It's two 100 watt speakers in 8 ohm. Again, I can't stress this as well enough as what they did in the various videos. Only used speakers of the same ohm output that the amp is delivering. So the Katana is 8 ohms out. Only connect speakers that are 8 ohms out in individually or paired together, that their combined output is 8 ohms, or input from said amp is into 8 ohms into them. So again, next. Move this out of the way. Oh. That's the internal speaker. This Harley Benton 2x12. So, there you have it, folks. As you watch me sit down and slowly turn back towards the microphones, that is it. All 21 minutes. Again, hopefully this all came through fine in the raw, straight up recording of this through my OBS software. So it's possible to turn a combo amp into a kind of semi head and still keep it able to be a combo. With that said, hope you all enjoyed the video. Hope you are all well, and like, share, and subscribe. Have a good one, folks. Bye for now.